Hi everyone, it's Ryno from the DIS Unplugged here. I am on the planet of Batu, and I am with a very special guest who I am going to let him introduce himself and tell us your role and everything that you do here.
I'm Doug Chiang. I'm the Vice President and Executive Creative Director for Lucasfilm, and I'm basically head the art department.
Awesome, awesome. So what kind of role did you have in bringing not just the Rise of the Resistance, but the entire planet to life here?
Well, part of the challenge was really, to be, how do you design something like this? Because I'm used to overseeing the designs for our films. And working with the WDI team was really spectacular because this was a new learning experience for me in terms of how do you bring the designs of Star Wars from cinema into reality.
Yeah. Well, I have to tell you, this is just, I was lucky enough to have ridden the attraction this morning, and it is, I was telling a guest that was coming by that said hello, that I was like, there's some things where you think, oh, I've stepped into the movie, where I think this is just fully, it's beyond, if I were an actor in the movie, I think going through the attraction is more real of an experience as like being in the Star Wars universe than this. So it's just been a mind-blowing, it's just incredible testament to what you guys are capable of. But do you have a favorite thing that you specifically want us to look for when you come here?
I would say look at all the details because we were trying to make this so immersive because we knew that the guests were going to look at places that we wouldn't expect, and so we had to make sure that all the details were spot on. So I would say as you're standing in the queue, look around, look up and down, because I think you'll find some nice treats.
Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about how you start a project like this, like where the idea comes from, and then how you get from the ground up to here?
I mean, designing this is actually very similar to how we approach our films, and a lot of it starts with research. How do you find real locations that you can ground the Star Wars designs? Because part of the key of designing for Star Wars is that you have to ground it in 80% of reality, things that we can relate to. And then it's that 20% that we can take it into the exotic world. And so really finding those ingredients was really the challenge. And so when we approached the designs for Galaxy's Edge, we approached it like we were designing for film. The big difference was actually the execution.
Yeah. And how long was this in the pipeline before we got to today?
It's been a long 5 years.
Yeah, now you worked on the films as well, correct? Like a lot of the earlier prequels as well. You had a big hand in that, so that must have been a really interesting thing to kind of weave that. I know you said this was the first time you worked with WDI and that sort of scenario. I guess I'm trying to ask, like, how did that experience differ versus like making something in a movie come to life versus making it where guests are going to fully live in this area?
Yeah, it's interesting because it's a very similar challenge because when we design for our films, we want to create a reality, a cinematic reality that's very real. So the guests feel like they're really experiencing Star Wars. The challenge for us here was that we actually had to take that experience and build it in reality, and build it for real. So things like lightsabers. Those are visual effects, so we can create movie magic with visual effects afterwards for our films. Here, they have to be really real.
Yeah.
You'll believe when you go through the Rise of the Resistance that a lightsaber is cutting through metal feet from you.
Yeah, well, I honestly, one of my favorite effects was just before you're even on the attraction is the door that opens up when you're in the interrogation room that's cut through for you. There's a lot of really amazing effects that you never think in life I'm going to see my eyes set on this and everything. So, yeah. Well, I want to thank you for your time, Doug. Sorry, this was a really quick interview here, but I don't want to take up too much of your time. And I know you've got a lot of people to talk to, but just you've done an amazing job here. Your whole team, everything. You've got to get out to Disney World. Or Disneyland. Get on Rise of the Resistance because it is unlike anything you're ever going to experience. So, thank you so much.
You're very welcome.